Hey guys, it's Friday, so happy weekend, everybody. This is my midday. I'm a little bit late with it. I thought I charged my backup charger last night. I must not have, so I wanted to do it earlier, but I was getting low on battery power and memory, so shame on me. But I wrote down a few things today because I've been wanting to talk about just some general things that I might have overlooked. First of all, I have a correction. I talked about the little patio area that I spent some time in last night in the middle of Sepulpa that was so darn cute as Mary's. It's not, it's Martha's Corner in Sepulpa. I got a little picture I'm going to attach to it, which kind of gives a little backstory of it. Really cool, and I enjoyed the time there, so I apologize for misidentifying that earlier. The young lady, I think her name was Jean Sividon, that got it and bought the property in memory of her mom, would probably be upset with me if I misidentified it. So I want to set the record straight there. I also kind of glossed over something last night. I maybe didn't gloss over, but didn't touch on this. One of the things in my journey that I've noticed is I run across, especially being it's been the summer, a lot of motorcycle folks. You know, they rarely go by themselves. Often they're two or three to a clip, and sometimes they're 20 deep of folks taking whether it be a club and what they're doing. And it's funny. I know they do this symbol where they put their hands down, like this here. I think that's their kind of. I think I don't know. I've never ridden a motorcycle in my life, so I don't claim to know that. But I think that they, kind of hate two wheels on the lowdown. And but what I wanted to talk about with these guys is, and having met Brandon last night, is the brotherhood of bikers, and what they do for one another, and what if you ever have an emergency or in need of a charity, I tell you, these guys and gals are some of the first to jump up and offer to help. It's an amazing brotherhood, and it's funny because my journey has been about trying to break the mold of indifference that our society has. And these folks, at least amongst themselves, they don't have to know each other. They don't have to know who you are or where you come from or what your political beliefs are. If you're a biker, you're good with them, and they just welcome you like family. It's a really, really unique thing, and I think in some degree, a world would be better suited to kind of adopt some of that kind of philosophy. And again, I know some of these guys look rough and rowdy, and maybe they are, but they also have hearts of gold, and I appreciate them. I don't know if I piss them off, or when they're out on the highway, I'm just walking. Sometimes I kind of do the same symbol of them, and a lot of them do it back. And sometimes they just look at me with disdain, like, "You're not a biker, dude. Just keep on walking." So I don't know. I just kind of call it like, "Hey, we're not car people. We're just drinking in the. I think bikers enjoy the freedom and the nature part of it is part of the beauty. So I'm kind of along the same ride in that anyway. So I want to touch on that and what these guys do. The other thing that happened this morning, something happened this morning that's happened almost in every small town since Missouri that I've noticed. And every time it happens, I said I'm going to get a video next time. And I did get one this morning. It probably wouldn't be much to you guys, but it reminds me of a scene in My Cousin Vinny. Early morning hours, the trains in these small towns go by at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they sound their horn for what seems like forever. And it's not a soft, mild little horn. And I got a video of it this morning, but every time I do, I think of the scene in My Cousin Vinny, where Vinny's there banging on the little bell at the hotel because he can't get any sleep, and it goes blaring at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I think about it every time. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, I've always been blessed to be an early riser, and I think one of the neatest things, and it reminded me this morning of it again. I've done this in almost every town I've ever gone to because I'm usually up before dawn. Certainly at the crack of dawn, but most cities and towns don't get fired up and rolling until daybreak a lot of times, or until 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, I know I've done it out in Colorado, I've done it in Salt Lake City or Park City, I've done it in Boston, New York, Philadelphia, small towns, wherever I've been. If you ever go and spend the night somewhere, big city, small town, I don't care where it is, just once, get up and force yourself to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and just go sit on a bench on the street and just see how a town looks in a city, especially big cities. I love going to big cities and driving around them at 7 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's out. 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun's up. You have the whole run in the city, and you just see it from a different point of view. Before the hustle and bustle starts, before you got cars and walk and don't walk signs going, and it just kind of brings you back. And like this morning, I was up in the park by 5 o'clock, 5:15, and it was like one or two others starting around 6 o'clock because I was doing my morning video. But it's so peaceful and quiet, and then being right on Route 66, you can almost, you don't have to close your eyes. You can just see, just go back 40 years and see, life hustling and bustling by, and feel the energy. And it's so easy to do when there's not people running around with energy. Honestly, it is. In the big cities, you just feel a part of something. You can breathe, and you're not worried about, who's behind you or slowing down in front of somebody, whatever it might be. So if I have one suggestion to you guys, when you get a chance to go to a small town where you're on a main street or a big city, get out really early in the morning. Just get a cup of coffee and get out there for a half an hour before it even starts. And this morning just brought me back to that again. So I wanted to touch base on that. Let's see, the other thing that came to be. So this is kind of a neat thing, and I had some ideas, and I was putting it out to you guys, especially as I go across longer stretches. So my backpack used to weigh about 30, maybe even more than 30 pounds. A few towns back, a gentleman, G, had given me a much smaller sleeping bag. Kind of, this one's about the size of a football. I think I've talked about it. But it probably saved me 5 pounds. And you know what? 5 pounds on your shoulders is like a miracle. Think about it. If it's 30 pounds, it's like 15% of the weight coming off. So, anyway, because I'm staying in Sapulpa for a second day, I've never really done that before. And early in my journey, I had a couple trips one in particular, where Pastor Fred said, leave your backpack here, walk up ahead, don't strain yourself, I'll drive it up to you, it's not a problem. But it's funny, without my backpack, I kind of lose my identity. I'm just a guy in a yellow-green safety shirt, and honestly, no one really wants to hear my message, or there's nothing that really calls attention to it. When I have my backpack and I walk around town, people ask the questions and open the door for me to talk to them. I don't even have to really go up to them, they do it for me. So, knowing I was in town today, I could have been walking around all day without my backpack, but like I said, nobody would really want to hear the message of pointing a thumb, and that's what I'm trying to carry about and convey. So I had a game plan, and I unloaded like 2/3 of my backpack. So I have my backpack with me, but it's probably about 1/3 to a half of what it normally is. And it's cake. I'm walking around as if I got just a jacket on. It's heavier than that, but it feels like that because the way it sits on your shoulders. So it got me to thinking, what if I, found a way to carry, pull, tug the rest, part of the journey, especially when I'm going across the hot desert. So I was thinking about maybe, you've got these foldable golf carts, because I want to be able to bring it into a restaurant, or bring it into out of the rain if I need to. I don't want some old, but I'm thinking about these old golf carts, right? You can, not old, but you can fold them up. You got big wheels, you can push it, maybe put, not a golf bag, but put like a round cloth hamper on there and put my stuff in there, and just take 20 pounds off of my back and push it as opposed to carrying a thing. And I thought, wow, what a blessing that would be. So I started having my mind race to that, and I went on Craigslist around here and wanted to see if golf carts were for sale or if they had anything like that, and just wondered what else might be out there. I know there's wagons and stuff. I was on like Walmart.com and looking at what they might have for wagons and things, but I don't really think I want to tug a wagon around with me, but I don't know. So that was just a thought I had. I figured I'd share. You guys are a lot smarter than I'll ever be, so I figured I'd put it out to the all and let you have any suggestions or thoughts you might have. And then, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning, I knew we had another topic I wanted to talk about, and man, did I find it really discouraging. And I find it discouraging because I don't want to be lumped in myself. It's just, it sucks and it's discouraging regardless. And then on top of that, I don't want people to be jaded towards me because of it. But I don't know if you guys remember the story about a year ago. Homeless guy in Philadelphia, woman runs out of gas, and not a great area of town. The guy says basically, stay in your car, lock the door, I'll be back. Homeless guy goes and takes his last $20, gets her some gas, brings it back, fills her up, and she drives away. Well, she's so grateful, she tells her boyfriend or fiance or husband, I think, one of those three, and they're so grateful for what his gesture was and wanted to help him that they started a GoFundMe page for the guy. and I think it raises like $400,000 for this young man. I shouldn't say young man. I don't know who he is, young or old or whatever. And and I thought the idea was to get him home and have him not be homeless. And they raised all this money for him. Donors cared enough to go ahead and take care of this gentleman, which I think is brilliant. I really do. I love when people give. I'm still hoping to raise money for a couple of worthy charities. I help more than one, but the community as a whole reached out $400,000, and I don't know what happened from there. But I just saw on the news yesterday that they're going to court over it, and from what I can tell, the guy's claiming he only got about $75,000 of the money, and that the couple that raised it squandered it. I think the couple's defending it, saying they had to stop giving it to him because he was just spending it back on drugs, and the guy's homeless again. I just think that just the bottom line of the guy's homeless, and it's tragic. Forget about whether the couple's crooked or not crooked. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm just, the guy did an amazing deed. They did an amazing gesture. They could have just said thank you and give him $100 or something. They went on and raised the guy $400,000. What a wonderful, wonderful, happy ending, kumbaya story it was right there. Boom. But then you fast forward a year later, and there's he said, she said, and I just think that that's tragic. I don't know whether the guy's blowing through his money. I don't know if he ever got them. I don't know. I just know that there's litigation going on about it right now, and God, that's what we need a little bit more of in this country, some more litigation. So that story really bummed me out. And then lastly, one last cool story is thank you to Cheryl and her son Gabe and her family. I was here in town this morning, and I believe a past journey friendship that I made with Brooks and Sarah and Jet and Cole, I believe somehow they posted on their Facebook, and somebody down here heard about it, saw the story, saw the journey, believed in it, and reached out to me and said, hey, we have an Airbnb that we just got back from vacation. We don't have it rented tonight. It's all yours, bud. So, wonderful gesture of humanity from these folks. So Cheryl, Gabe, Gabe's her son. I don't know her husband's name. But again, thank you guys so very much for putting a roof over my head tonight. And that's where we're at. So I didn't get a lot of pictures last night of the folks at Pat's, but I'm definitely going to get some streaming video tonight and share these folks with you, because the whole place was just welcoming to me. I must have had no less than 16 to 20 people ask me to tell them, what it is I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And then when I did, were totally engaged and supportive of it, and it was a great feeling. And I'm looking forward to just being a friend tonight and not being point the thumb journey. In fact, they gave me a Pat's Place shirt that I'll be wearing. I'll probably be out of my yellow shirt tonight. I'm just looking forward to be a regular guy and celebrate Bill's birthday with him and just make some more journey friends. So that's the midday, guys. Stay tuned for tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. Love you all. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.